Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dime One, and I am back with another video. You know what you got to do: rate, comment, subscribe. Please believe, hit that notification bell so it'll let you know when my next live stream or video goes down. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter. That's where the real that's where I speak my mind about certain topics in the sporting world or entertainment, and also tweet out random things that I see on a day in and day out basis. So subscribe and enjoy. You will not be disappointed. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's topic. And it's Sean Marks, and really this article is coming from the New York Post. And basically, Sean Marks, the GM of the Brooklyn Nets, was pretty much talking about how things transpired between him and Kevin Durant. Basically, why Kevin Durant chose the Brooklyn Nets. And basically, what the article stated was Sean Marks was basically saying that, well, when I was conversating with Kevin Durant, he talked about how he liked what we were doing as an organization. He liked the direction the team was headed. It seemed like he liked the attitude with the team. And when they used to play against the Brooklyn Nets, when he used to play for the Golden State Warriors, they were not an easy out. They were very competitive, and he felt like he liked the system and the structure there so much that ultimately that's why he came to the conclusion of signing that four-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets. And when you read this article, you have to also add along with this article and add with the substance of what was said, during the, if you want to call it a negotiation, when ultimately he signed with the Brooklyn Nets, because basically the articles that were written about why he chose Brooklyn are totally different from what ultimately he had with the conversation he had with Sean Marks, the GM of the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, the other articles suggested that the reason why he chose Brooklyn because he did not trust the Golden State Warriors. I mean, he had issues with the Golden State Warriors, had issues with Steve Kerr. He couldn't let go of the fact of Draymond Green calling him the B word, and no man shouldn't let go of a fact of another man calling you that. And I felt like that had more validity of him ultimately getting out of the Golden State and ultimately signing with Brooklyn. I felt like the Draymond issue situation was the real corporate, the real issue why he chose Brooklyn. And Brooklyn pretty much placating to his every wish and his every demand, signing DeAndre Jordan when there was really no market for DeAndre Jordan, and they pretty much bid among themselves in giving him that contract. If Kevin Durant didn't stipulate, hey, if y'all want me here, not only you gonna have to sign Kyrie, you have to also sign DeAndre Jordan, then I'm not coming. So if that never transpired and never happened, DeAndre Jordan will probably be still sitting around to this day trying to land on a squad. Okay, he would never been offered that type of money, that type of contract, if Kevin Durant didn't tell Brooklyn, look, if you want me, not only Kyrie has to be signed, but DeAndre Jordan, they're friends and all, okay? So you want to take care of your friends. I don't see nothing wrong with that either, okay? As long as it doesn't mess up the foundation of what you already established or what you already trying to accomplish, okay? So after reading when you hear all these other articles and now you read this article, once again it's a twofold situation when you process all this information. One, I think Kevin Durant had already made his mind up before the incident with Draymond Green. Before people want to say technically the Golden State Warriors pushed him back on the court, but if you really paid attention to that, not only the Golden State doctor said it was okay, but Kevin Durant's own doctor said it was okay. So it was unanimous. Everyone agreed that he couldn't make it worse with this injury. Okay, and when you speculating, that's the risk you run. When you speculate, you could probably be right on point, or you might be totally off the mark. But nobody can guarantee what's going to transpire in life. Okay, so when you read all of these articles, it's if you peel away from what you're hearing from Kevin Durant's camp, or what you're hearing from people with agendas like Fox Sports 1, ESPN, the blogs, and all that stuff, if you peel away from all that, Kevin Durant, to me, has already made his mind up. He was leaving the Golden State Warriors because he came to the conclusion that it was never going to be his team. It was always going to be Steph's team. The organization is going to and since it's his team, it was his franchise. And even though Kevin Durant had he still aspirations of winning a championship, he also wanted to be validated. He always wanted to be around people that validated him, who he wanted the feelings of wanting to be loved. So he was always going to leave, okay? And then people made it a big deal of him signing to the Golden State Warriors, calling it a weak move and all that. And that plays into your mindset mentally. Everyone knows that. I feel like Kevin Durant is overly sensitive when you're talking about I really do feel like Kevin Durant he doesn't go with the flow. He doesn't go with what he feels within his gut. He pretty much wants validation all the time. He wants to be loved and catered all the time. And I always, and that's why I always thought that he was always going to lead the Warriors, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in this live stream. But getting back to Kevin Durant, when you read the article, particularly from what Sean Marks said with his conversation with Kevin Durant, when you just read the first paragraph, the whole paragraph was liked. He liked this. He liked that about the organization. He liked what was going on with the players. He liked the system. Okay? All the way through that paragraph, and you didn't hear, and you didn't see, and you didn't, throughout that whole paragraph, you never once saw the word love. Because when you love something, not only you're committed in it, but you fully, truly in your heart believe in it as well. And it goes into relationships, it goes into business, it just goes into day-to-day life. People like to work. Everybody likes to work, okay? Even though people say they hate their job, but at the end of the day, they like their job, okay? But you rarely hear my job, okay? And that's what I'm getting from this article. Everything from Kevin Durant, from his conversation with Kevin Durant, is I like it. Okay, that's good that you like it, but throughout that whole article, you never heard him say, you can't hear articles, but when you read the article, he never mentioned love. And the only time he mentioned love is at the bottom of the paragraph, when he reiterated what he already stated about the system. He said earlier in the paragraph that he liked the system. At the end of the paragraph, he said he loved the system. Pretty much, adding credence to the system. Okay, but he never once said that he loved the culture. He loved playing on the East Coast. He loved the nuances about the Brooklyn Nets. Everything he said is liked. He liked it. Which, when you hear people say like, and you also have to realize it's a 4-year deal, and you also have to realize to the fact that the first year he's not going to play. Even if they make it to the playoffs, they're not going to run the risk of him re-aggravating his injury or creating another injury. Okay, so it's the Kyrie Irving show or bust. Okay, so that's 1 year that you're not going to have KD. When he comes back in 2020, okay, he's rehabbing. You're not going to get the full potential of Kevin Durant, but you'll get enough, okay? And he's going to be rehabbing through that season, okay? Because typically when people have an injury like that, even though they may be out for maybe the season, but the following season after that, they take precautions. They don't push it too much, and they're sort of rehabbing. So technically, they're not on the team for a year, but when they do come back on the team, you don't get that same person, and they're also being very cautious. So, that's another almost year wasted. Remember, Gordon Hayward broke his leg, was out for the whole entire year, came back last year. You saw glimpses of him, but you really didn't see his true form until like the second round of the the first round of the playoffs. And then the second round, he kind of teetered off. So, clearly Gordon Hayward is rehabbing from his injury. And, Boston, when they play this upcoming basketball season, you're gonna start seeing Gordon Hayward do some amazing things in Boston, and then people are gonna start throwing out these articles of wow, Boston really hit it big by landing Gordon Hayward 2 seasons ago. Look how far he came. But the reality of it is, it takes like 2 years for you to fully get back to the swing of things, particularly when you break your leg. This man tore his Achilles. I remember Kobe Bryant tearing his. Okay, it took him a full year, and when he came back from that year, Kobe Bryant wasn't even cautious, because he knew that it was his swamp. It was pretty much like at the end of the road of his career, and he pushed it and re-aggravated it again. Okay, put a lot of pressure on his other leg, where he partially tore that Achilles. Okay, so Kevin Durant's going to be cautious, but you only got him for 4 years, and 2 of those 4 years you're not going to get the very best of Kevin Durant anyway. So now you only got him for 2 years, with the possibility of him walking out the door yet again to another franchise. Okay? But Brooklyn and Sean Marks are already swinging it big in Kevin Durant's eyes, because they placated to him. They gave him whatever he wanted. All right? He wanted to play with his good friend DeAndre Jordan. They signed him to a contract that nobody was going to give DeAndre Jordan. Okay? So they pretty much bid within themselves. Okay, so they did that for Kevin Durant. Then he wanted Kyrie Irving. If they could have gotten Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant really didn't care who his second running mate would have been, Kyrie Irving wouldn't have gotten that contract. Okay, things would be totally different. And things will be in a different perspective for Kyrie Irving if Kevin Durant did not push for him to come to Brooklyn. And that's what transpired on that deal. So you got 2 players who when you look at it, you got two players that their futures were not clear, you know, because there was a small market for Kyrie Irving, but there was really no market for DeAndre Jordan. Okay, so that's two people. Ooh, that's he good. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's all. I feel like he likes everything, but one thing about somebody liking something, uh, they're quick to like it, but they're easily as fast as hating something. And I feel like Kevin Durant just went into this not factoring in other things. Now, yeah, him playing in the East, competition is not as severe like in the West, which means that you can stockpile a lot of wins, which means that you can get the one of the top three seeds. Okay, you know, that's fine and all, but Kevin Durant, the person, has to accept the fact that it gets very cold out there in the East. Kevin Durant likes to lay around in the pool and chill and stuff like that. I feel like those little things, those little nuances that he didn't factor in, is going to play a major role on him. He may switch teams yet again, and then it'll be something else. Plus, he's also have to accept the fact that, yeah, that DeAndre contract is good right now. But what if you need another player? And it's hard to get another max player when you got DeAndre Jordan's contract. What if they have to come to you and say, hey man, we might have to trade DeAndre Jordan to, upgrade the roster? Okay. I think, and a lot of things that he didn't like about the Golden State Warriors are going to be the things that he's going to desperately want from Brooklyn to do. Golden State Warriors were very flexible with their schedule. He didn't have to play every game. Okay, if he had a bad night, he can depend on somebody else. He had multiple people he can depend on. Okay. He also had a player in DeAndre Jordan, which, yeah, no man should be called the B word. And I'm not condoling anything what DeAndre Jordan said to Kevin Durant. And but he's gonna miss that type of player that will do the dirty work. I mean, will jump on the floor for loose balls, will get the rebounds, will defend the best defender. Okay, would sacrifice their talent and their touches for the benefit of the team, as well as Andre Iguodala. He's going to miss him as well. That was the luxury of the Golden State Warriors. The flexibility the flexibility on your roster where you don't have to play all 82 games. You can sit back. You can sit back and do the load management thing. Even though Kevin Durant didn't do that much, didn't do it often, but he had a scenario where he could do it in Golden State. Plus, eclipsing LeBron James. If he would have gotten 2 more championships, he would have definitely passed. He definitely would have eclipsed LeBron James. And then people would have to put him in the discussion as best player of all time. Okay, so he's missing that potential. And I feel like the Brooklyn Nets can go far, but at the end of the day, I don't think the Brooklyn Nets has enough to. If they have to play against the Clippers, I don't think they have enough to play against the Los Angeles Clippers. So I think they can. I think they can represent the East because even though the East is have some competition, once they get both of those players back, and if they can, and then another thing the people that are not factoring in is the component of chemistry. He has never played with Kyrie Irving. Only, maybe, some practices, or, some, playing some basketball, that's, not on a competitive level. But, you can't never practice certain portions of a game. Okay, so they're going to have a huge learning growth curve on that as well. Okay, well, that's all I got for today. Like I always tell you guys, 80% of my audience pretty much watches the re-air of this. I rarely get anybody to watch the live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's your boy, I'm Chris the Don One, and I am out. Deuces.